Hello and welcome to the Vinyl Review. Now you may be wondering, what is the Vinyl Review? Well, the Vinyl Review is my way of filling a bit of a gap in videos that I've been looking at when I've been trying to find information about records, about collecting records, about albums, about hi-fi equipment, about record players, all that kind of stuff. Now, to set the story straight, I am not an expert in any of this stuff. I am not a record expert. I'm not a record salesman. I'm not a record collector as such. I'm also not an expert by any means in home audio or hi-fi or anything like that. I'm a music lover. That's basically it. I've always been interested in music. I've always loved listening to music, especially albums. I've got a massive collection of CDs that I picked up as a kid. I started off with cassettes and then moved on to CDs and then moved on to mini disc, and then all the way through that I've picked up the odd vinyl record here and there. And please excuse me for calling them vinyl. I don't know what the best terminology is. I've always hated the term vinyl, but everyone seems to use it and I've ended up using it. I've even called my channel the Vinyl Review. So bear with me if I call it a vinyl or an LP or a record or a disc or wax or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Now, generally along the way, as I said, I've always been interested in albums and in music, and inevitably through doing that I've picked up lots of albums and I've ended up with a reasonable size collection. It's not massive, it's not ridiculous, but it's not tiny. It's somewhere around about the sort of 200, 300 album mark in terms of records. And I've got to a point where quite often I would want to buy a record and there didn't seem to be much information out there. Quite often record selling sites will show you a picture of the record. You might get a bit of information about what songs are on it or what's included, but you didn't really get much specific information about that actual record. So what I wanted to do was set up a channel where people can look at some of the records I've bought, maybe look at some of the equipment I use, maybe look at some of my sort of accessories, things like that, just to give a bit of an insight into what I've got, what I'm using, and what is involved in all of that stuff. And it's also a bit of a forum, I suppose, as well, where if people have any questions, if they see something, like if you see something here and you think, oh, I really want to know about that album, or I wonder what that is, or you've got that version, what's in that, what do I get with that when I buy it? And I'll try and do my best to make a bit of a video or an update, and you can then sort of ask questions based on that and leave a bit of feedback, and we'll see what we end up with. It's all a bit of an experiment, really. This is video one of hopefully many, and we'll see where we end up. All right, so it's been an absolute pleasure introducing myself, even though I haven't given you my name or shown you my face. That is not my intention. This is a channel about the information at hand. It's not a channel about me, about who I am. It's a channel about what I listen to, what I've purchased, and what I use. And that's hopefully it. Don't want to get into anything more personal than that. Now, the other question you might have is, why this setup? Why this kind of gloomy space? Why the weird wooden table? Basically, it's all I've got. I'm not any good at technical stuff. I'm not good at computers. I'm not good at editing. I'm not very knowledgeable on cameras and lighting and all that kind of stuff. So for now, this is what I've got, and this is what you're going to get. By all means, leave some feedback, leave some comments, let me know some hints and tips on lighting and organising stuff, and I'll try and see what I can come up with. But for now, this is how it's going to be. I quite like it. It's basic, it's simple, but what it will hopefully be is informative. That's what we're hoping for. Fingers crossed.